All right, I'm going to show you something today that I have not seen demonstrated on video anywhere else before, and that is how to snare a rub where hogs are rubbing. Now what you can see, hopefully this will show on video, but we have a very distinct trail. They're running right up along the high bank of this creek. You can see they're rubbing there. They've rubbed the bark off of that. You can see the mud there. There is a nice walla right down there, and a really nice rub right here. Now, normally you might think just hang a neck snare on the trail here, but the problem is those hogs are going to come up and they're going to do this, back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So in other words, you can't put a conventional snare with any luck of success. Now, a couple of things that you need to pay attention to. Look at the height of the mud on the tree. That's going to tell you the height of the back of that hog. And so you're going to have hogs that are at least this tall, but not taller than that, rubbing on this tree before they head down into the walla to get covered in mud, and then probably make a return trip back up. So a couple of things we have to be aware of. Number one, we could have piglets run along here and rub at the bottom. We could have really big ones. So we're not sure what size hog that we're going to be dealing with here. And number two, I'd rather catch a big one than a piglet, and I don't want the piglets knocking my snare loops down. So how do we set this up? That's exactly what I'm going to show you, and there are a couple of different ways to do this. So pay attention to the principle of what I'm about to show you and not the exact construction method, because there are different ways to construct this set. Now the first thing you're going to need is a decent hog snare. That means, in my opinion, that means 1/8 inch 7x7 cable or 3/32 inch 1x19 cable. That's what my hog snares are going to be made out of. And you can see I've also got a roll of electrical tape here. I'm going to show you where that comes into play. But you got to have a good quality snare. Now you'll see my snare is made out of 1x19 3/32 inch cable. It is then terminated to a number 12 barrel swivel, which is then connected to a 1/8 inch extension cable, and that 1/8 inch is 7x7 cable. Very solid, very secure, and you can see it's been dipped, so it's weatherproof. Now the next step is to anchor your snare to the tree. You can see that's very simply done. I've just passed the entire snare and extension cable through the loop on the end. That is not going to go anywhere. Now if I step back, you can see that is anchored well high. I've explained this before, but you want that hog, when he gets caught, to be pulling at an angle, not straight out where he can run and pop this cable. So you want him being lifted up off the ground where it limits the amount of power he can be applying to that cable. All right, now here is the finished set. If my assistant will get out of the shot here. Come on, girl. That's what I know. They're all over the place. Here we go. Come on. All right, now we've attached the snare up good and high. And the key is, look at how we've got this snare set. We have got this thing set where the loop is basically inverted, and it is run right along the edge of that tree. In other words, when that hog comes up to rub, he is going to hit this snare. I've got the loop just a little bit off the ground, probably 6 or 8 inches off the ground, and the height, of course, is determined by the rub. See how I've got that rub covered right there? And if his back is here, his snout is going to be lower because they're always angled down. They're like sloped armor. Now, notice the electrical tape. See how I've got that taped around here? All that does is that keeps that snare cable up against the tree, and it is I'm able to slide this cable up and down. So once I get it attached to the tree, I can adjust it. Now there's a couple of different ways you can do this. Instead of using electrical tape, which is problematic if it's been raining and it's wet, the stuff doesn't really stick that great when it's wet. You could use annealed wire. You could use zip ties. And let me show you the old timer way to do this. Now the old timers would take their hatchet, their axe, or their machete, and they would knock a groove. Yeah, you're gonna rub. You're gonna rub all in there, aren't you? There's hogs everywhere. Are you done? Okay. Huh? Are you done? Yeah, that's my partner there. But anyway, like I was saying, they would hack a groove into the tree, and they would physically press that snare cable into the groove, and then the groove would snap shut, holding that snare cable taut against the tree. I personally don't like to use that method because, number one, I have to carry a cutting implement to do it, but more importantly, it leaves a permanent sign in that rub tree. So if somebody comes along, they can see that somebody has been in here, and for some reason they've hacked right along that mud. So they know that somebody's in here, somebody spotted the rub, and somebody's been doing something. Whereas with, and I apologize for the shaky camera, but whereas with this method, once I make a catch, or if I don't make a catch and I want to break this down, all I do is pull the electrical tape off, unhook my snare, and I'm gone. There is absolutely no permanent marking left. There is no support wire left. So there's no trace whatsoever that anybody has been in here and made a set at this location.